After an argument, my son left me stranded at a bus stop without a dime. I sat there as vehicle after vehicle sped past, pondering how donating my kidney to rescue him had brought me to this point. 40 guests had just seen him, shame me publicly at my grandson's birthday celebration, labeling me a load who nags him over his procedure. Not one person spoke up. No one intervened. I'm Tom Mitchell, a retired high school English instructor, and I figured offering an organ to your kid to preserve his existence would deepen their affection for you. I was mistaken. My fingers trembled as I checked my vacant pockets. The icy steel seat pierced my lightweight coat. That's when a visually impaired lady took a seat next to me, her service canine breathing gently. "Act like my spouse," she murmured. You won't imagine what she shared afterward. But prior to explaining how this sightless, unfamiliar person turned into my rescuer, share in the comments. Have you ever sensed being undervalued by relatives? And remember to hit subscribe for additional tales of subtle retribution. 3 years back, my existence appeared otherwise. I'd just stepped away from 38 years instructing English lit at Roosevelt High. My spouse, Susan, had passed 5 years prior, taken by breast cancer, even with my non-stop attention. I resided solo in our modest dwelling on Maple Street, getting by on a teacher's retirement check of $2,800 monthly alongside Social Security. Cameron was my greatest delight. At 26, he'd snagged a promotional role at a tech firm, earning $65 grand annually. When he wed Ashley 2 years before, I'd anticipated grandkids and weekly family meals. Rather, I received courteous remoteness and mounting demands for lavish presents. Ashley hailed from wealth, but her kin had disowned her for wedding someone below her class. She was stunning, driven, and harbored grand visions that demanded even grander funds. Cameron sensed the strain. Each chat somehow looped to funds they lacked and a way of life they couldn't sustain. I ought to have spotted the red flags. The manner Cameron's chin clenched when Ashley referenced their pals' getaways. How he began seeing my retirement funds as tied to his cash woes. But then arrived the verdict that altered it all. The call hit on a Tuesday dawn in March. Cameron's tone quivered. "Dad, I'm in the ER. My kidneys are shutting down. Terminal renal failure." The doc indicated it had developed over years, likely inherited. Absent a graft, he had perhaps half a year. The donor queue for a renal organ spanned 3 to 5 years. I didn't waver a bit. "Check me out," I instructed the graft organizer that day. "I'm his dad," Cameron objected. He was youthful, he noted. I was 61. The procedure would tax me more. Ashley concurred, proposing we probe alternatives initially. Perhaps his sibling could get screened. Cameron lacked a sibling. The exam spanned 2 weeks. Blood group, tissue match, mental assessment. I cleared it all. Not merely cleared. I was deemed an ideal fit. The graft specialist, Dr. Evelyn Coleman, outlined the hazards. For Cameron, it meant survival. For me, it signified major operation with extended healing. "Your dad is remarkably fit for his years," she informed Cameron at our last meeting. "Yet this remains a substantial offering." Cameron embraced me that day. A true embrace like he hadn't since age 12. "Dad, I'll always cherish this." He breathed into my neck. Always. I trusted him. What followed would torment me for years. Operation date was April 15th. I recall since it was filing day, and I quipped to the staff that I was settling a distinct sort of levy with Uncle Sam. Cameron chuckled. Ashley clasped my palm. Briefly, we resembled a genuine clan. The procedure lasted 4 hours. Upon rousing, the discomfort was fierce, a profound searing throb down my left flank where they'd extracted my kidney. Yet Cameron occupied the adjacent chamber, and his new organ functioned flawlessly. Healing proved tougher than anticipated. At 61, my frame didn't rebound. Like the 20-something contributors the medical crew typically managed. I lingered 2 weeks in the facility, then 6 months under strict home oversight. Cameron dropped by each day initially, hauling broth and lingering soundlessly as I dozed. "You preserved my existence," he noted one midday, softly brushing the lengthy mark along my side. "I grasp what this exacted from you." I'd envisioned this drawing us nearer. Father and offspring linked beyond lineage now, linked via offering and fresh starts. I foresaw festive suppers where Cameron recounted his father's donation. Grandkids who grasped their granddad as their pop's champion. In those initial months, it appeared feasible. Cameron was mindful, thankful, involved in manners absent since boyhood. Ashley even prepared meals for me on 2 occasions, delivering bakes with precise warming directives. I believed preserving his life would mend our bond. But come month 3, shifts emerged. Cameron's drop-ins shortened, grew sporadic. Ashley quit appearing altogether. When I rang to inquire his progress, Cameron sounded irked. "Dad, I'm okay. You needn't fret over me now." The initial health invoices began landing in July, hefty packets stamped with Metropolitan General Hospital. I perused them cautiously, peering at the figures. 230,000. My grip shook as I dialed Cameron. "No sweat on that," he replied swiftly. "I'm managing the tabs. Coverage will foot most." But I hadn't a clue what Cameron was inscribing under my name. The invoices persisted over summer. Not a pair, but scores of them. Operative charges, sedation, post-op fees, drug expenses. Each packet weighed more than the prior. The sum swelled. $230,000. I arrayed them over my galley table one August morn, striving to decipher the digits. My title showed as surety on multiple sheets. I didn't recall endorsing aught that rendered me monetarily liable for Cameron's op. The inks resembled mine, yet the nib force felt amiss. The arc and the M of Mitchell veered a tad unlike my norm. When I phoned Cameron, he sounded hurried. "Dad, for real, skip fretting this. I've sorted it. Repayment schemes are locked. Coverage is vetting the bids. But Cameron, my title's on these tabs as its mere forms. Dad, health tabbing gets naughty. Rely on me." Ashley grabbed the line. "Mr. Mitchell, you truly oughtn't fuss over cash matters. It's overly taxing for your stage." At my stage, I was 64, not 90. I disconnected, sensing muddled yet confiding. Cameron was clever, degree-holding, employed in commerce. Certainly he fathomed health tabbing superior to me. I tucked the docs in a craft sleeve and strove to dismiss them. Aught about those docs felt awry. What I ignored was Cameron conferring with health credit reps weekly through autumn, as I mended and presumed all managed. My boy was employing my Social Security digits and private details to clinch steep-rate credits versus the facility obligation. The routine was smoother than fitting. Cameron strode into Capital Medical Credit with my Medicare slate, a duplicate of my permit and faked mandate sheets, asserting I'd empowered him to oversee my health coffers owing to post-op mental lapses. My pop seeks to tackle his share of the graft expenses discreetly, Cameron clarified to the credit rep. He's abashed about the kin leaning on coverage for all. The credit rep, keen to seal a hefty pact, scarcely checked the docs. A $230,000. Health credit at 18%. Yearly rate with $4,200. Lunar dues anchored to my retirement and Social Security perks. Cameron inscribed my title with rehearsed assurance. The M in Mitchell arced a tad unlike my norm. Ashley idled in the auto, browsing feeds, uploading snaps of their supper at the posh city eatery they eyed with their debut credit payout. "Your pop's so bountiful," she noted to Cameron en route back. Most guardians wouldn't aid this much. He was deploying my title for matters I'd never greenlit. The initial fissure in Cameron's tale surfaced in November. I was rifling post when the line buzzed. Unlisted caller, but I picked up. "Mr. Mitchell, Jennifer from Capital Medical Credit here. You're tardy on your November $4,200 due." My gut sank. "Pardon? What due?" "The health credit you locked in August for your renal graft. Per our logs, you okayed lunar auto draw from your retirement slate, but it bounced for low balance." I slumped into my galley stool. "I never enrolled in any credit." Jennifer halted. "Sir, I've your ink right here, plus your Social Security digits and OK sheets. Care for duplicates?" Post or disconnect, I rang Cameron at once. "Dad, some billing snafu," he stated, but his tone had shifted. Stiffer, less tolerant. At times, these health finance outfits muddle who's liable for what. "I'll ring them and fix it." "Cameron?" The lady stated I endorsed sheets for a $4,200 lunar due. "I never endorsed aught like that. Let me manage it, fine. This is precisely why I spared you fretting the cash bits." But when I rang my retirement overseer next day, they verified someone had tried auto draw setup from my slate. The OK sported my faked ink, the call that flipped all was nearing. By December, the cash squeeze was wrecking Cameron and Ashley's union. I caught it in their tones over our mounting strained rings. Ashley had kicked off part-time at a shop, but her wage scarcely met their auto tabs. "Your pop must pitch in more." Ashley relayed to Cameron post another of my worried rings on health tabs. "He's the one who pushed this renal bit. He should own the tabs." Cameron felt pinned betwixt his brides. Insists and the swelling proof of his scam. The credit dues hit Lunar, but he couldn't sustain them on his $65K wage. He'd already tapped their plastic limits and grabbed a second lien on their pad. Perhaps your pop could offload his pad, Ashley floated. He don't require all that room anyhow. He could shift to elder quarters and tap the gain to aid us. The notion burrowed in Cameron's skull. I held my pad free and clear, valued around 150 grand. If I offed it, the Hall could quash the health credits and Cameron'd be liberated. All he needed was to sway me. It was my notion. Ashley knew zilch of the obligation grenade primed to detonate round us all, but she was set to turn a keen player in the scheme to peel away all I retained. Christmas feast at Cameron's pad was the debut. I truly clocked the turn. I hauled gifts as usual. A kit for Cameron, sent for Ashley, learning playthings for 5-year-old Logan. But my turnout looked dingy beside the pricey gadgets and chic garb they swapped twixt each. Oh, how useful, Ashley remarked, dangling the chain store scent vial like it might taint her polished nails. Thanks, Mr. Mitchell. Cameron scarce eyed the kit. Dad, I've most of these already. Perhaps hold the slip. The barbs pricked, but I grinned and dipped. Logan at least lit up over the timber riddle I'd crafted in my shed. He clutched my limbs and dubbed me top grandpop ever. Over supper, Ashley ruled the talk with chatter of their cruise Yuletide, jaunts to Europe and slope hops to Colorado. Cameron grew uneasy as she sketched scenes of a life they plainly couldn't bankroll. We're eyeing Cancun for our vow bash, Ashley declared, eyeing Cameron pointedly. If we can muster the cash? The hush dragged. I sensed I was meant to proffer aid, but my instructor's retirement scarcely met my humble outlays post-feast. I caught Ashley in the scullery. Your pop could be more open-handed. What's the use of coin if you don't aid kin? I wasn't flush. I was an ex-instructor scraping by on $2,800 Lunar, but Passover would sting worse. Passover Lord's Day felt off from my entry through their entry. Ashley's kin had tagged along. Her ma and pa sis and bro-in-law, all clad in steep garb and hashing portfolios over bubbly. I hauled a glazed ham and sported my finest blouse, the azure one Susan gifted me for our final Passover duo. But parked round Cameron's banquet slab, I felt like odd decor. Tom, here's an ex-instructor, Ashley proclaimed like unveiling a zoo oddity. He lectured English for what was it? 38 years. Her pa, a thriving land baron, bobbed civilly but posed no probes. The banter swift veered to land costs and trade flows, fields where I added naught. Cameron scarce noted my turnout. When I tried spinning a yarn on Logan's late nursery feats, Cameron clipped me. Dad, we get it. You've spun this thrice. I hadn't spun it thrice. I'd scarce uttered all noon. The sharpest cut was eyeing. Ashley's kin mingled with Logan while I lounged sidelined. They shared quips, common tales, summer trek plots. I was the intruder, endured but excluded. When I tendered to aid tidy post supper, Ashley shooed me. Oh, nay, we're good. You unwind. But her pitch hinted I'd likely botch it if I tried. I motored home that dusk, sensing tinier than in ages. The sharpest was looming. The bid to Logan's nursery vernal recital hit my slot with a penned postscript. Do come, Grandpop. I've a lone bit. I wouldn't skip it for worlds. The venue was jammed with maws, grandfolks, and sibs, all gripping smart devices and tiny blooms. I snagged a spot in row 3 and awaited Logan's stage entry. As the young'uns marched in their twin ochre tops, I clocked Logan pronto. He glowed, spotting me in the throng. Flagging so keenly, his guide had to nudge his gaze to the tune. His lone turn was spot on, a tender, faintly flat take on You Are My Sunshine. I taped each tick on my dated clamshell rig, my ticker bloating with pride. Post-recital, I loitered out Logan's room with the rest clans. That's when I grasped Cameron and Ashley had skipped. The other grand folks snapped pics with their broods, but I stood solo clutching a wee posy of ox eyes. Where's Ma and Pa? Logan quizzed, spotting me. They had labor tonight. I fibbed, loath to dash him. But I hauled blooms for you and taped your full ditty. Logan snugged my mid, and I sensed his wee heat versus my torso. In that tick, I grasped I'd morphed to the trusty spare scheme, the buffer letting Cameron and Ashley rank other bits. I was gratis kid watch masked as kin. Logan's natal day'd be the ultimate breaker. 2 fortnights ere Logan's 5th natal bash, I kicked off scheming a standout. My grand lad merited beyond shop halls and rushed fates. In my outhouse, I logged hours fashioning a timber playbin, planing each face sleek, tinting it vivid azure with his tag in tidy scarlet script athwart the 4. Within I stowed a trove of timeless timber playthings, cubes, a rail kit, riddles, the sort enduring genes. It embodied fortnights of toil and most my extra coin for the moon. But Logan's glow would offset every cent. Cameron rang 3 days pre-bash, his pitch taut with tension. Dad, re-Logan's natal. Ashley's toiled fierce to render it prime. We've leased the gazebo at Riverside Green, booked a jester, commissioned a bespoke gâteau. It's tabbing beyond our plot. I paused for his straight query, but he held off. Instead, he sketched cash pinch and hinted outlooks. Ashley's noted how grand folks oft aid with grand bashes like this. Her folks ever toss in for chief events? Ashley's folks were loaded? I was an ex-instructor. Sure, I'll toss what I can. I noted, though my check slate dipped perilously. Low post procuring Logan's boon. Stuff. Swell. Ashley. I'd maybe $300 or $400 to offset the spot and show. $400 was nigh a fourth my lunar haul. What transpired at that bash would flip all eternally. Saturday noon at Riverside Green was ideal. Azure vault, mild gust. Clans dotted o'er the sward with spread rugs and grass seats. The gazebo Ashley leased decked in caped hero orbs and ribbons. Just the sort of bash every 5-year-old fancies. I hit early with Logan's timber play bin crammed in my ride alongside. A $400 script that'd leave me on nut spread slabs rest of moon. But Logan's thrill made it pay. 40 souls crammed the gazebo. Cameron and Ashley's work pals, boars, nursery clans, Ashley's broad kin, all in casual sat garb, gripping boons and plasty beakers of citrus brew. Logan dashed to me the essek he clocked my ride. Grandpop hauled my boon. Is it huge? Can I unwrap now? His zeal pulled grins from grown-ups. I swelled, striding with him to the gazebo. My grandlad's wee grip in mine. His prattle stuffing the air with 5-year-old glee. Cameron looked harried, eyeing his rig non-stop and murmuring with Ashley nigh the boon slab. The booked jester lagged, and the gâteau hit with a script flub needing mend. Bash host heat etched on both visages, but Logan beamed, and that counted. I had no inkling I'd strode into a snare. When boon time hit, Logan pushed I lead. Grandpop's boon. Grandpop's boon, he crooned, hopping on toes as other young'uns ringed him. I toted the timber play bin from my ride, sensing each grown-up's gaze as I plunked it for Logan. The noonbeam glossed the azure tint, and Logan's tag popped in fat scarlet script. I crafted this for you, I told him, dropping to his plane. It's for stashing your prize playthings secure. Logan's peepers bulged. He trailed his wee digits o'er the sleek timber, etched each tag letter, then flung his limbs round my nape. It's the grandest boon ever. Cheers, Grandpop, other maws hummed assent. Some snapped shots. One dam leaned to Ashley. How fine Logan has such a skilled granddad. Briefly, I sensed I fit. Logan's thrill backed fortnights of labor and cash offering. This was granddadhood meant to feel. Forging recalls, forging ties, prized for fondness, not fiscal tosses. I unlatched the bin to show Logan the timber playthings in. Each bit handpicked and buffed to prime. Logan gulped, thrilled, hauling cubes and rail autos, flaunting to chums with real spark. That's when I clocked Cameron's mug shadowing athwart the gazebo. That's when Cameron cracked. Sufficient. Cameron's. Pitch sliced the bash like a lash snap. 40 chats halted mid-phrase. Young'uns eyed up from plays. The booked jester froze mid-orb knot. My grand lad yet snugged his playbin when his paw stormed nigh, mug crimson with fury. This hits what I mean. Cameron's pitch boomed o'er the full gazebo. The nag trips, the wheedling. You play like I owe you my breath 'cause you handed me a kidney. My lifeblood chilled to frost in veins. Every grown-up in the gazebo gawked. Logan's wee mug folded in bafflement. Cameron pray I kicked, but he was revving. 3 years? Dad, 3 years of you hurling that op in my mug each time I skip rings. Each time I can't drop by, each time I strive my own path. You play like gifting an organ dubbed you my lord. My grips quaked. I sensed sweat beating my brow despite the chill gust. 40 gazes pinned me like a lab oddity. You roll up here with this. He waved at Logan's fine play bin, this steep nag trip. And bank everyone spies what a prime offering dad you are. Well, I'm quit faking thanks for mood blackmail. Ashley stood iced by the gâteau slab, her mug ashen. Logan had kicked weeping, yet gripping one timber rail auto. The other young'uns murmured twixt each, catching grown-up clash they couldn't parse. Boy, I never aim don't. Just don't. I never bid you hand me your kidney. That was your pick. Your Saint Rut, not my tab to foot eternal. The phrases struck my torso like real thumps. My op mark seemed to scorch under my top. Every soul at that bash, Boars, crew, nursery clans, witnessed my full shame. No one uttered. No one aided. Cameron snagged my limb, his digits gnawing my hide. But he wasn't quit with me. "Come on!" Cameron growled, hauling me to his ride. "I'm hauling you home." But we skipped Maple Street. Instead, Cameron motored to the city bus nook, his joints bone pale on the wheel. Ashley Mum in the front seat. Cameron whither-bound. My pitch emerged tinier than meant. "You can bus home. Perhaps the trek grants you think time on limits." When he curbed at the steel stool on 5th and Main corner, my muddle flipped to alarm. "Boy, I lack bus coin. My billfold." Cameron stretched his palm. "Hand it." "What? Your billfold? You don't require coin. You've your retirement, your Social Security. You're set." My digits shook as I fished my frayed hide billfold and laid it in his palm. $43 notes, my draw card, my permit, all proving I breathed in the globe. "Cameron, pray. How get home?" "Sort it." "You're sharp, Dad. You lectured 38 years. Snag fixing should be cake for you." The door banged post me. Through the pane, I spied Ashley's mug tear-streaked. But she skipped eyeing me, skipped piping up. The motor roared and they peeled, ditching me curbside like tossed decor. The steel bus stool chilled through my slim slacks. My torso felt squeezed, banded like ribs trussed. Autos zipped by. Clan wagons bound home from pitch romps and natal bashes. Pairs and drop-tops savoring the vernal noon. No one curbed. I parked there, perhaps 20 ticks hashing choices. Trek home, 12 miles on creaky pins, ring someone. But whom? I'd drifted from most instructor mates. My rig was dated, nigh spent, and held no cab's digits. The beam dipped lower, tinting all in mock gilt glow. That's when the sightless lady parked beside me. She materialized like a boon to a plea I hadn't voiced. Elder dame, perchance late 50s, with hoar locks tugged in a crisp coil. Her service hound, a fine aureate retriever, steered her straight to the stool beside me. "Pardon me," she stated, her pitch tender yet firm. "I don't aim to irk, but I'm awaiting my kinsboy to fetch me," and he frets spying me chat with unknowns. "Could you play my mate till he hits and I hop in safe?" Her plea was so offbeat, so mildly voiced that I blanked my woe a tick. "Sure," I noted, "aught you require. Thanks." He aims fine. But since my wreck, Danny treats me like frail. He preaches on unknown peril like I'm we. She eased beside me, her service hound flat calm at our dogs. Aught in her turnout, serene, aimed, eased the squeeze in my torso. "I'm Evelyn, incidentally. Tom." Tom. She echoed my tag musingly. "You sound glum." "Tough noon." I nigh chortled. Tough noon scarce skimmed it. Her pitch rang so known. We parked in cozy hush some ticks. Her service hound now and then nudged my shank as if clocking my woe. Evelyn held off pressing banter. But her turnout felt like a toasty throw round my shoulders. "Tom," she noted at last. "This may ring odd, but did we cross pre? Your pitch rings mighty known. I doubt I'd recall. You noted ere you'd been ditched by one you rescued. You said aught regifting them your kidney." My puff snagged. How could she? "Tom Mitchell," she noted tender. "And it wasn't a probe." The spark struck me like thunder. That pitch, those measured protones, the way she voiced. Kidney, like she'd voiced it myriad times. "Dr. Coleman, Evelyn Coleman, I led your boy's graft op 3 years back. The Globe seemed to list. Of all bus nooks in all towns, I'd wound up stool-bound next the dock. Who'd salvaged my boy's life via my kidney. Dr. Coleman, you're sightless. Aye, auto smash 18 moons back. But my recall for pitches excels, specially pitches of cases that stuck. Dr. Coleman, you led the op. Tom, what hit today? Why park you ditched here?" So I spilled it all. The natal bash shame, the ditched billfold, Cameron's fury renag trips and wheedling. My pitch quaked as I sketched the stairs of 40 mugs, eyeing my public ruin. Dr. Coleman hearkened sans cut, her palm now and then petting her hound's dome. When I rapped, she hushed long. "Tom, I must share aught dire. Cameron hit our tab wing 6, moons back, claiming you sought a tab scheme. For the lingering op tabs, $230,000. My gut plunged. I never okayed any tab scheme. Per our logs, you inked sheets owning fiscal blame for the full sum. Lunar dues of $4,200 auto-drawn from your retirement slate. That's unfeasible. I never inked aught like that. Tom, I reckon your boy faked your ink on health credit sheets. What you sketch, the abrupt ire, the nag claims of wheedling, rings like one frantic to cloak cash scam. The bits clicked, the queer inks on those tabs. Cameron's dodges recash, his swift heat whene'er I quizzed op tabs. What she shared next flipped all. I yet hold ties at the facility, Dr. Coleman pressed. If Cameron's tapped your tag to clinch health credits, that's Fed scam, tag lift, elder harm. The terms struck like thumps, but some way they also hauled sharpness. Cameron's acts abrupt meshed. The shame he hurled at me was his own pilfering from his pop. What can I? I lack even my billfold. First, we haul you to safe turf. My kinsboy Danny hits soon. He won't probe if he thinks I'm aiding my mate home. Then we kick doxing all. Dr. Coleman fished in her satchel and drew a slate. Sightless or no, she clocked exact where to snag it. This is my barrister, Michael Foster. He hones in elder harm suits. But Tom, grasp this. If we chase this, your boy faces grave law fallout. I mulled Logan's mug when Cameron blew at the bash. I mulled 40 souls eyeing me ditched like refuse. I mulled 3 years of swelling slide and cash wheedle. Dr. Coleman, I noted low. Cameron picked when he opted to pilfer from me. I was set to unearth Cameron's grandest flub. Next morn, Dr. Coleman fetched me at 8 crisp. Her kinsboy Danny was a gent in his 30s who meted me. Civil regard and skipped uneasy. Probes re my brides. Abrupt need to hit city law dens. I've pre-rung Michael Foster. Dr. Coleman noted as Danny motored us to the law den. He's yanking health logs, credit bids, any sheets with your faked ink. At Foster and Pals, Michael Foster proved a keen-clad gent in his 40s with mild peepers, and zero room for fiscal elder. Harm, Mr. Mitchell. I've clocked suits like this he noted. Fanning docks or his parley slab. Your boy been mighty occupied with your tag. The proof crushed. Credit bids sporting my faked ink. Health surety sheets I never inked. Even a sham mandate sheet claiming I'd granted. Cameron's sway o'er my cash owing to post-op with fade. This mandate sheet's specially dooming, Foster unpacked. It lets Dawes tag on faking law sheets to the tag lift. Dr. Coleman parked beside me, now and then gripping my palm when bits stung sharp. Eyeing my tag faked myriad times felt like spying someone snatch my essence bit by bit. What's our next stride? I quizzed. We dock all, file gripes with Fed Powers, State Top Law Wing, and Grown Guard Wing. Serve Cameron with sheets. He'll pick. Full payback or law probes? The proof crushed. Foster's law den held the still zip of a spot where grave biz wrapped. Aid crew shuffled twixt dens hauling fat files. Copiers droned steady and lines buzzed with laws beat. The Fed tags weigh hefty, Foster unpacked, hauling codes on his box. Tag lift under the sham tag law hauls up to 15 years locked. Health scam adds 20 more. Elder harm's a state heavy with its tabs. My grips shook as I inked the formal gripe sheets. Each ink felt like reclaiming a shred of me Cameron snatched. Yet, Foster pressed, since this a debut flub and kin-tied, does off lean payback or lockup. Cameron foots every cent snatched, plus rate and fines, and skips cage. Dr. Coleman leaned in. What's the full sum? 230 grand in sham health obligation plus 18% yearly rate for 6 moons, plus law tabs and fines. Nigh $275,000. The digit dangled like a storm head. Cameron lacks that coin haul, I noted. Then he'll need to offload goods, cash out stores, whate'er fits. Law's firm. Scam praise must be righted full. Foster's aid wrapped and hit with a new sheaf of sheets. The bar order's set for ink, and we've a serve hand primed. Cameron knew zilch of what loomed. By wed noon, all locked. Foster'd filed gripes with Fed DAs, State Top Law Wing, and Grown Guard Wing. The facility'd marked Cameron's slates pending probe. The health credit outfitted iced all dues pending scam vet. We served sheets morn, Foster briefed me o'er line. Bar order, halt and desist on all cash slates and formal nod of law probe. I logged that eve at Dr. Coleman's pad, parked in her front room with a tea mug and her service hound. Luna dozing o'er my dogs. For the first in years I sensed shielded, not frail. Second thoughts on chasing law act? She quizzed. Re the push! Nay, but I keep mulling Logan. He'll ache from this. Tom, you're not tasked for Cameron's picks. You're tasked sole for shielding self and setting bars. She nailed it. Cameron had crossed all bounds, breached all faith, snatched my tag and my worth. The 5-year-old who'd snugged me post-op was fled. Swapped by a gent game to raise his pop for cash gain. Plus, Dr. Coleman tacked, Logan needs to clock Axe Hall Fallout. Now he's gleaning it's fine to mistreat if you hold sway. Next morn, Foster texted me at 7 dawn. Serve hand and path. All primed. Time to serve Cameron his dawn jolt. The serve hand, a pro dame named Janet, wrapped Cameron's entry at bang 9 dawn. I loitered in Foster's ride athwart the lane, gut roiling as I eyed my boy's mug frame in the doorframe. Cameron took the packet casual, likely deeming it routine post. But as he scanned page 1, his mien flipped from bafflement to jolt to sheer alarm. Bar order halt and desist, Fed Law probe? Through the pane, I spied Ashley hustling to scan o'er his shoulder. Her palms flew to lips. Their still too dawn had burst to a horror of law fallout and Fed tags. Cameron reeled back in yet clutching sheets. In ticks, he was on his rig, pacing wild pre the front pane. My line buzzed, Dad. Cameron's pitch quaked. What in blazes this? Field tags, tag lift? What's afoot? You clue me, Cameron. Seems you've been inking my tag to credit sheets. Dad, I can unpack. Can you unpack 230 grand in sham obligation? Can you unpack faking mandate sheets claiming I hold wit fade? The hush dragged twixt us. I aim to shield you from cash strain by snatching from me, by wrecking my score, and risking me for obligation I never okayed. More hush. His take told all I needed. Foster snagged the line from my grips. Cameron, Michael Foster here, your pop's barrister. We need hash your paths ere this rolls further. I couldn't catch Cameron's share of the banter. But I eyed Foster's mughold pro blank as my boy likely pled, menaced and haggled. Cameron, hark tight. You 48. Ticks to spill full cash unmask. And kick payback. Dues or Fed days roll with law tags. This ain't haggle, Foster slid me back the line. Cameron, I noted low. You picked? Now face fallout. Dad, pray. I never aimed harm. Ashley and I were frantic. The health tabs crushed us and I lost it. You could have hit me, sought aid. Instead, you snatched my tag and ditched me bus nook. Sorry, re the natal bash. I was tensed and cracked. But Dad, if you day me, I'll cage. Ashley'll bolt. Logan'll miss his paw. The mood wheedle rang so known. I nigh bit, nigh. Cameron, Logan already missed his paw the day you deemed fib and snatched fine fixes for snags. 48 ticks Foster tacked, snagging line back. Full aid or law day, no drags, we cut. He held 48 ticks to pick his path. I stowed 1 grip, 3 days garb, my paw's fob timepiece, some snaps of Susan, and the valor leaf my own paw snagged in Korea. All else, sticks, tomes, galley gear tied to a life. I strode from. Dr. Coleman tendered her spare room while we sifted law rolls. Her pad was wee but cozy, stuffed with toasty whiffs of brew and tomes. Lunid claimed me, tailing room to room like a furred watch seraph. You needn't prove aught to any. Dr. Coleman noted as I creased my blouses into the lone chest. Shielding self ain't selfish. My rig hummed nonstop. Cameron ringing, texting, firing, mounting frantic notes. Dad, pray ring back. We need hash this. I never meant it roll this far. I blanked the rig. 48 ticks meant 48. The pad on maple. Street felt like a hall of another's tale. Snaps of Cameron wee. Cues of natal bashes and Yuletide dawns when fondness streamed free twixt us. But that wee lad was fled, swapped by a gent who eyed his pop as a cash vein to tap. I ditched my key on the galley counter next to nod at Dr. Coleman's if you need me. I was at last unbound. Cameron's 48 ticks dragged like an age. My rig, when I flipped it back, held 37 missed rings and 14 voice drops. Dad, I know I botched, but we can mend joint. Ashley knows zilch were the credits. Pray don't raise our clan. Logan keeps quizzing whither Grandpop went. What tell him? The last drop varied, quieter, more cracked. Dad, I dug all the credit sheets. Your spot. I snatched from you. Dunno how it soured this, but I need aid mending. Foster rang wed noon. Cameron seeks meat. He's set for full unmask and hash payback terms. We locked meat at Foster's den through dawn. Neutral soil with law watchers, all logged and pro. When Cameron hit, he looked unrested days. Locks unkempt, garb creased, peepers rimmed crimson with wear and weeps. Ashley skipped with him. Dad, he noted sex spying me. So sorry. But it was o'er late for sorries. Harm wrought, faith raised. Cameron logged 3 years forging a scam net via his pop's tag, peeking in public shame and ditch. Sorry wiped no $275 grand snatched obligation, but it was o'er late for sorries. The unmask spanned 3 hours. Foster's aid crew logged each phrase as Cameron unpacked his net. The faked inks, the sham mandate, the health credit bids, even the fibs he'd fed Ashley re my supposed keen to tab. I told self I shielded you from cash strain, Cameron noted, pitch scarce a murmur. But real, I shielded self from owning I couldn't juggle the obligation. The digits crushed. $230,000 in health credits, 18% yearly rate, fine tabs for lagged dues, law tabs, admin tabs. The fold swelled to $287,000. I lack that coin haul, Cameron owned. Then you'll need offload goods, Foster hit flat. Pad, autos, stores, nest eggs, whate'er fits. Cameron's mug blanched. If I off the pad, we'll lack roof. You should have mulled that fed crimes. Foster slid the packed sheet. Full payback or 5 years, full cash unmask, steady dues court-eyed. Any lagged dues sparks instant lauda. Cameron inked with quaking grips. Out, Ashley idled in their ride, weeping. Through pain, I spied Logan in his seat, toying with one timber from his natal boon. The fallout scarce kicked. The pad hit trade 2 fortnights later. Cameron and Ashley'd shifted to a tight 2-room flat athwart town, tabbing moon by moon as Ashley hunted full toil. Foster kept me briefed on cash rolls. Cameron's payback dues hit one $200 lunar for next 5 years. Nigh half his net wage. Their auto'd been yanked. Ashley's vow loop sold. The plastics axed. He's gleaning what cash strain real feels, Foster clocked in one meet. But coin wasn't soul what Cameron shed. His crude gleaned with the Fed probe. His chief, uneasy with scam tags, had soft reassigned Cameron's loads to others. Ashley's kin axed all touch once clocking the tag lift. Her folks, loaded and pick-conscious, couldn't stomach the blot of a son-in-law under Fed probe for elder harm. The union strained under raised faith and wrecked cash. Ashley'd clocked Cameron's fibs, re my supposed keen to tab health, and she sensed betrayed by his cloak. I backed him to you moons, she spilled to Dr. Coleman in a stray shop clash. I deemed you selfish. Had no inkling he snatched. All crumbled. Ashley at last grasped Cameron's cloak scope. 3 fortnights post-law pact. Foster locked full cash unmask, unearthing the true pit of Cameron's scam. Not just health credits, but plastic taps in my tag. Utility slates cracked via my Social Security digits. Even a wee private credit from a shark lender anchored to my retirement. He fed me you'd okayed aid on some tabs. Ashley owned in an awkward line hash. I deemed you open, not he snatched from you. The unmask wrecked what lingered of their union faith. Ashley'd strained with Cameron's blast rage, the same fury he'd flashed at Logan's bash. Clocking her mate a steady cash crook was the end thump. I can't cleave to one who fibs this smooth, she spilled him in their last clash. If you'll snatch from your own pop, what to me? Ashley Dade split 2 days later, seeking prime keep of Logan. Cameron. Snag watched visits till law probe wrapped. Logan was the pure prey in all this. A 5-year-old lad eyeing his clan shatter 'cause his paw picked greed o'er upright. She never clocked the scam. The pro-dooming hit on a drab 2 dawn in Octi Fed Hall. Judge Martinez helm. Cameron pre-slab in his lone left suit. Court takes the plea pact. Judge Martinez boomed. 5 years watched release, full payback is locked, and must cash counsel. Cameron dodged cage, but slim. The judge's nods were keen and kin. Mr. Mitchell, you steady scammed your own pop. A gent who lit gave his organ to salvage your breath. This court deems your acts specially vile given the praise offering and faith. Foster gripped my shoulder as we hearkened the end terms. Hood toil, steady probes with release hands, full ban from tapping any cash slates in my tag. Any breach sparks instant cage. This wraps the law bit, Judge Martinez noted. But it don't mend the tie harm you've wrought. Out the hall, Cameron tried nearing me, but I strode past to Dr. Coleman's idling ride. We held naught left to voice twixt. The law netted dealt right, but couldn't mend faith or balm the gash of backstab. Some harm digs past coin, past dooming, past fallout. Some harm flips who you are eternal. Right was at last dealt. The toughest was unpacking to Logan why Grandpop couldn't hit supper more. Ashley hauled him to Dr. Coleman's pad one sun noon 6 fortnights post-law rolls. He burst through door like a wee twister, yet hauling the timber rail from his natal bash. Grandpop missed you. Ma said you ailed, but you look fine. How unpack cash scam to a 5-year-old? How tell a lad his pa snatched from his grandpop that coin and barristers and halls tore clan asunder? Logan, at times grown-ups flub, I noted, tugging him to my lap. Pa flubbed bad picks, and now fallout hits. Like when I smash playthings and miss screen time. Something like that, but Huger. Logan eyed my mug with the grave cast only young'un's nail. You wroth it, pa? I'm let down and stung, but I yet prize you fierce. Will you hop back our pad? The query lanced my ticker. Logan skipped grown snares of scam and backstab. He just craved his grandpop back. I dwell here now with Dr. Coleman, but you can drop any time of green lights. Then Logan wrought what flipped all anew. Chill draped the town like a tender throw, and I hit my beat dwelling with Dr. Coleman. We'd morphed an odd but cozy duo, two souls who'd braved backstab and loss, forging a fresh kin sort on shared regard, not duty. Cameron hit his lunar payback on tick, toiling extra at toil to foot the cash loads. The split had wrapped. Ashley'd shifted back her folks' temp, hauling Logan too. I eyed my grand lad every other end week. Tight-watched drops that soft rebuilt our tie. We hashed riddles, scanned tomes, toyed with timber playthings I'd fashioned him. Logan never quizzed uneasy why Pa couldn't drop too. Doc Coleman and I locked in daily beats. Dawn brew joint, noon rambles with Luna, Eve hashes on tomes and recalls. She schooled me to eye the globe afresh. To prize unbound and self-worth o'er kin duty. You're mending? She clocked one flake Eve as we parked by her hearth. We both do. Then the missive hit. The wrapper tagged in Logan's. Tidy nursery script to Grandpop. Tom. In was a sketch that blurred my peepers with weeps. It showed two twig genes, one lanky, one wee, parked by what rang the timber play bin from his natal bash. The lanky gen held a long scarlet streak athwart his belly crayoned keen. At base, Logan scrawled, "This is Grandpop Tom. He is a champ 'cause he salvaged Pa with his frame." The scarlet streak is whither they yanked the prime bit. A creased nod from Ashley. He sketched this at nursery in a champ lesson. When his guide quizzed unpack, he said, "My grandpop handed shard of self to keep my pa breathing. Deemed you should eye it." Logan clocked the op streak and won our swim jaunts and quizzed it. I'd unpacked plain and true the op that salvaged his pa's breath. To Logan, the streak wasn't cue of tap. It was proof of champ. A youngun's sketch of an op streak is a champ seal. I stash. Logan's sketch on Dr. Coleman's chill box next her shop rolls and slot cards. Some dawns when the sting weighs too. I eye those two crayon twig genes and recall what fondness real looks. Not boundless propping, not cash duty, not offering worth to hold ties. Real fondness packs bars. Real fondness needs regard. Real fondness means schooling folk, even your own spawn, that axe haul fallout. Cameron rings at times. Awkward hashes whether he briefs me on payback dues and poses tight. Quizzes my health. We may never mend what's cracked twixt, but there's room for fresh, for true. Logan drops every sat. We forge riddles and toil fresh timber. Playthings in Dr. Coleman's outhouse shop. He chats nursery and chums and now and then nods his pay. With the blind pardon only younguns hold. At times, fondness means voicing nay. At times, salvaging one means letting 'em face fallout. And at times, the prime boon you can hand one is the shot to win your regard back. But that's their pick to take. If you'd been in my spot, ditched, skint, and shamed by the spawn you salvaged, what'd you do? Spill your take below and subscribe if you crave more tales. Folk who snagged their mite when deemed lost.